Okay, everybody, I have been going over a ton of old footage, and I found this one clip that you just have to watch. And I really want to explain why Luke did what he did because it is an integral part of all horsemanship and horse training. It's kind of knowing how to communicate based off of an action that happened that also has other things happening, and then how he kind of came back. Anyways, let's watch this clip. It's just a few minutes, so bear with it. Now that it's hard to watch, these guys are an awful lot of fun. So I'm just going to enlarge the screen here, and we're going to just watch this together. And just a joy, just an absolute joy to have as a horse. Trained him from scratch, essentially. Nice. I'm gonna get Lena next, but let's just see what these characters do here. A little bit. Oh, she's on the bridge. Gets a little taller for it. Says, I'm not putting up with you two crazy boys. Just nuts. Oh, watch out, pal. I'm right here. Going over to the girl. Boys, eh? Here they come. Yeesh. I'm gonna back up. Oh, Luke got kicked in the shoulder. Oh, Mr. Tall, looking good, buddy. Looking sharp. Yeah. Oh, there it is. He got him moving. That's good. Still the big boy in the place. Okay, go get her. You got to tell her what for now. I think he does. I don't know. I'm just saying that, but I think he has to go do something about that kick to the shoulder. Maybe not. Coming up low. Oh, he's got to have a roll. Yep. I don't know. Oh. Says that's cold. Oh, there's a little skid by, and he got what he needed. Gotta go to the next horse, cause some trouble. Oh, there they go. Gosh, what a day. Can't believe this is my life sometimes. But I get to share it with you guys. So it's a little bit of your life too. She's on the bridge, man. I don't think you can get her. There. She does a little cow kick. Says, try me. I like how Luke paused there. Like, I'm not sure what to do. Let me think on this. Okay, so I find these kinds of clips to be absolutely fascinating because essentially, I don't know if you guys caught it all, but I'm going to go through it briefly here. But essentially what's happening is we've got Luke, Mr. Wild, and a horse that was here a while ago that I nicknamed Little Miss. Little Miss is a wildie, Mr. Wild is a wildie, Luke is an appendix as far as we know. Totally domesticated, been with me for I think 8 years, 7, 8 years. I think I said 6 or 7, but yeah, I think probably at that time maybe. This is the beginning of this year, 2022. And so what we're watching is we're watching the boys kind of play a little bit, but what's really happening is Luke is sort of commanding the area while playing. So what I find fascinating, absolutely fascinating, is how horses can kind of go in between these roles of doing things, of kind of owning a space or commanding a space, and also having some kind of playtime, some kind of social behaviors that are friendship building or relationship building. and then and then at the same time they can really mean it when they really mean it. So let's quickly scrub through a little bit. And as I sort of, what I'll do is I will mute the audio for the video, otherwise you'll hear it scrubbing through in my voice, and you don't need to hear me twice, that's for sure. So as we kind of cruise through here a little bit, and I come up, in the middle is Little Miss. She's a 5-year-old, I think a 5-year-old little wildie, and Mr. Wild is coming up, and Luke's on the far right. And as we scroll along a little bit more, you can see them playing a lot here. So we'll just play this out just a little bit. And then this is where the friendship is happening. This is where the relationship is kind of happening. And then they sort of go away. And Luke goes over to Little Miss because he's the commander of the area. He's commander, I don't know how to put it, but he's sort of the controller of the area, while at the same time having a little bit of back and forth. And this is the important part of this video right here, I think. So we're just going to kind of step through this frame by frame. And I spend probably way too much time doing this. I don't know. It's an obsession. I just want to be able to predict and know and become so much more efficient at understanding how horses are going to react. The primary reason being, I want to stay safe. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get kicked. I don't want to get bit. I don't want to get run over. So if I can predict what they're going to do, then I'm just going to be safer, guaranteed. And I can keep other people safer too and help them understand, like I'm hopefully being able to do a little bit here. So just sort of cruise through here. And right here is sort of this defining sort of point. Luke's coming along, and you can see he's got his nose to the left. So he's sort of telling Mr. Wild, hey man, I'll make my way over there if I need to. And he's also doing his best to talk to Little Miss here and telling her where to go. And he's cruising along, and right there, right? Can you see how her butt sort of comes in? And this is really, this is one of those moments with hanging around with horses that you know something's going to happen. When they get, some people, if they're saddled, some people call them humpy, or some people call a horse that kind of gets this way cold-backed. So they get sort of all hunchy in their back, like their back comes upwards because their butt is going downwards. And so you can see how it's got a bit of a bend in her back there. And man, it comes in tight here. Her butt comes down, her legs are starting to come in, and she's sort of preparing to defend, because Luke's bumped her with his shoulder. Now, she isn't moving fast enough. If he has come along and he has bumped her, then she's going to have not have moved enough. Now, why she isn't moving? Maybe because I'm there, maybe because she doesn't care enough. She's got her ears back. She's ready to defend herself. And she comes up and gives him a tap on the belly, I think. And I think she just barely got his chest. It's hard to say. I don't think she got him with her left leg. Maybe. It's hard to say. We can sort of see. Anyway, she definitely got him right there. Look, her whole hoof is in his fur. So she gets him in a spot that's relatively strong. It's their rib cage. They've got a lot of strength there, physically. Not that it doesn't hurt, I'm sure. It probably hurts quite a bit to get kicked. And so she comes out of that, and she's ready to kind of do it again a little bit. But Luke's already moving out of the way. He's going to hang a left, right? He goes left, and his butt is ready to come around. And he also gets, look at how straight his back is here. His back is straight because his butt has come under and it's ready to come out. And so we really want to pay attention to these butt unders and legs out moments. And also these swishing tail moments. You can see Little Miss has got her tail ready to swish out. Even though it was kind of in and tucked in, she's still ready to swish it out and tell him what for. He starts to hoppy skip around and send her. And once he gets her hoppy skipping around, or he's hoppy skipping and pushing her around a little bit, he's going to follow up with something that's less. So one of the very, very important things with working with horses is that we don't want to stay at our highest level of drive. And in this case, it's him being, if we come back just a bit, it's this. It's hoppy, hoppy, hoppy. I'm going to come in with my back legs. But she's moving. So he doesn't need to keep using that. It's effective. Stop doing that. Do the other thing that you want to be effective, which was way back, before all the kicking started, where he's coming in. I'm just kind of scroll through this a little bit quick. And he's moving her with his body, right? So he's coming in with his face and his body's coming in and then bump. And she's like, hey, you touched me, kick. It's just a natural reaction. It's just her just being a horse. It's totally normal. He got too close too fast. And he's like, you didn't move away fast enough. I was coming in and telling you where to go. So he makes that move. He gets that hip moving and she reacts to that. You can see as he does this drive-by, and we'll just scroll through really slowly. So he comes by and he's got that hip coming through. And it's another thing to really watch out for when hanging around with horses. When their nose is away and their hip is in, you probably got some trouble. And so he does that little act and you can see his foot, just barely, his right foot is kind of come outwards. And she reacts to that, right? She's like, don't tell me what to do. I don't know exactly what she's saying, but maybe something like that. And then she sort of jumps around because I'm behind her. And if you notice, something that I also would point out is that I can tell that she's pretty excited here. And there's a chance that she's going to, you see how there's straight back and her butt is in. She's come up and there's a chance just by default, she would kick out. So if you watch here, I back up. I make a back move. Not because I'm any threat to her, but I just don't want to be in the line of fire of any sort. So I can predict that's going to happen and get out of the way. Now she moves in and she's sort of drawn to one of them, probably Luke, who's in the middle now. Now he's got a job. He's got a very interesting job that he still has to sort out. And even I predicted in the video, he still has to sort her out a little bit, but he's also got to keep Mr. Wild away because he's like, look, I've got control of this situation. I got control of the girl. And that's just the way it's going to go. So he has a little pause here, sees everything sorted out. But I still think, based on my experience with horses, that he has to do a little bit more because I don't think he probably doesn't quite have that he's got the full control. So he goes for this quick roll, which is obviously really chilly and probably quite wet. And he's like, whoa, maybe he says that. And this is where he comes in and does another follow through. Now, the discerning whether or not you need to do a follow through with a horse, and a lot of people say that horses don't hold grudges. This could be seen as a grudge. He got kicked and he's going to hold this grudge. But it's not a grudge. It's really just making sure that everything is sorted out. So he comes in first. As you can see, he's all ears and some a big build, sort of a big sort of stance. He comes in and he's able to push her off. And that's good. So he continues with his face, continues with his nose. It's ineffective. She doesn't move. So he says, okay, well, back to the legs. And that's effective. But he didn't kick out. He just sort of skipped. And then he's got to chase off Mr. Wild a little bit because he's getting too close. Run back, go to the top, and everybody gets really excited, and it's lots of fun. So we've switched from the sort of control the environment back to let's just run around a little bit. I find these switches fascinating because I don't think very many people do it. I don't think very many, when we're training horses, we're very goal-oriented, very just like really on it. And instead, there should be a little bit of movement, a little bit of somewhat unstructured movement and playtime within there. You can get there, right there. You can see Luke's coming in right here. He's telling Mr. Wild where to go, and his nose comes left, and now he's talking a little miss, and she moves. So he then has to move Mr. Wild. So he's flipping between the front end and back end and which one needs to be most effective. When it is effective, he stops. And that ability, that there, his face, he gets that sorted out, and then his hip sort of comes around. He comes in, and she gives a little side kick, which is kind of adorable in a way, but she's kind of saying, look, you can be here, maybe don't be so pushy. Maybe. And Luke's actually a fascinating horse to me. He is incredibly good at working out horse dynamics. I learned from him a lot because he didn't really follow through any further. He sees that little cow kick, but he's like, yeah, it's fine. You're still here. Whereas a human might see it as something like this horse is trying to get me, or I've got to really sort this out. And he didn't. And that decision process to me is absolutely just fascinating. And he gets a lot quieter and then just kind of comes up and hangs out beside her. So I think we can learn a lot from horse cycling. We can learn an awful lot from just watching them do just something that was 30 minutes long. And there's just 3 horses, and they've got to go back and forth, and they've got to sort out space and sort out who moves who a little bit. There's a lot to that saying of being able to move feet, but there's also a lot to be said about being able to not move feet, to have that draw. Moving feet is just drive. You're just pushing. And I think it's way overplayed in the horse world. I think it's very, very, very important that we also consider, how do we not move the feet? How do we do something? How do we be around a horse, and how do we have them be around us and have them not move? Just stay and be quiet and peaceful. And that's exactly what happened at the end here. Luke got exactly what he wanted. He's got peace and quiet. They both have their head low, and they're both calm. So anyhow, just one of a million clips that I'm finding looking over the years, shots. And this one I really wanted to share. I'm sure I've got tons more just like this one, but there's some other ones that are more cute and some that are a little bit more dangerous looking and stuff. So we'll be going over those in the future. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know anytime, and I'll see you guys in the next one.